And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dash Attack, and with me is Mr. Andy Matrix.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Andy Matrix, yo. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about mostly anime and gaming stuff. And Andy, tell me a little bit about your channel.
All right, guys. So yeah, man. My channel has actually been out longer, as in like like 27, sometime 2017. But I really wasn't taking it seriously until like late late in 2019 when I came, like I went to Japan in May 2019, right?
Ooh,
It was a really cool time, and then I thought I was gonna make like a travel to Japan channel, and I also had the Andy Matrix channel. It was called Andy RCV back then. That's when I kind of started taking it seriously. I just said, let me just upload a couple of videos here and there, right? And because I was doing other things, I was trying to like write novels and publish them on Amazon, and I had little to no success on Amazon. Um, but then like once, you know, I had a lot of plans for 2020, right after I came back from Japan. But then like once 2020 came, and
yes.
then like the whole, the pandemic and the lockdowns,
Yep.
and I was like, shit.
Yeah,
Okay, because
that
I
like we
had,
all.
yeah, man, it caught you by surprise. It basically ruined everybody's
Yeah.
plans, right? So I had a blog. I was blogging at andyrtv.com. I don't really promote my blog anymore, but one of the reasons why I started YouTubing, I decided to continue YouTubing is because I wrote an article, and I think maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. It went viral on Twitter, and it got me like tens of thousands of visitors to my blog. And it was the article. It went viral, and it appeared on Anime News Network. It was the article that said Demon Slayer outsold the entire comic book industry.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember that story. I
Yeah.
remember.
So I was one of the people who started the whole thing. And because the first time I saw the news, it was on Sankaku Complex, right? I saw it on Sankaku Complex, and I was like, okay, let me write an article about it because Demon Slayer has sold 100 million copies, and I say, okay, well, that's like way more than the freaking comic book industry in such a short time, Because on average, I think American comic books, a superhero. We're mainly talking here about Marvel and DC because that's basically the what mostly sells.
Yeah.
They sell about, I think, like 10 million copies per year, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I checked, it was like 10, 16 million, right? And then recent, in 20 in like but over the years it started dropping, right? And then when I found the news about Demon Slayer, I said, okay, well, it looks like Demon Slayer is like it sold 100 million copies much faster than what the American comic book industry sells in 1 year, right? So then I wrote an article about that. That shit went freaking viral, and I saw there was like Japanese. It went viral on Twitter. There was like people contacting me on Twitter. There was, by the way, I was not popular back then. I didn't even had like 100 subscribers at the time. I think I had like 70 subscribers, right? And I yeah, so there was like Japanese forums linking to me. There was like YouTubers linking to my article. A lot of shit. And I was like, holy crap. I didn't think that this was gonna like be a big deal. And then I made a YouTube video. Now the YouTube video really didn't get that much views. It got like 1,000 views. But then I said, okay, let me blog and make YouTube videos about my blog articles, right? And then I became like really busy with YouTube, and I just didn't have time to blog anymore. Like I haven't blogged in like months. Sometimes I'll post on my blog, it still gets traffic, and that article is still getting views. But and that's basically how I started, and I decided to make my channel about anime, manga, geek culture, Japanese culture, and gaming. When I first started, I was thinking about going like the more like the Western route, like talking about Western movies, like superhero stuff, like fantasy
Yeah.
and science fiction movies. And I stumbled into Yellow Flash in I think it was late 2019, something like that. And
Yeah.
Yellow Flash talked about a lot of controversial stuff. The first time I heard about him was with the Vic Mignogna stuff. If you heard about that,
Yeah, yeah, that's when I really started watching
yeah,
Yellow Flash. And yeah, he does like Yellow Flash doesn't give like he'll talk about like anything.
yeah, man, he doesn't give a shit, man. That's and so I found out about him, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can make videos like that. And I don't know the thing about the
Oh shoot. Hey Dante.
what's up? Oh, Dante's here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's up, man? So yeah, I was thinking of making videos like Yellow Flash, but then I saw that like when you make controversial videos like that, it's like YouTube likes to flag you. YouTube likes to like demonetize you. You know, they suppress that video in the algorithm, things like that. And I'm like, hey man, like I don't want to have a YouTube channel that is so controversial that like every other video is getting like demonetized. You know what I mean? And honestly, I was thinking of talking about comic books, but it's like I wasn't really like a super duper comic book fanatic. Like I was just like I was really
I've always preferred manga. Like comic books have always been just way too hard. Like, you have to know all this years of comic from like all this 60, 50 years of like Spider-Man history just to understand like these relationships and the dynamic. It's just too much homework. I start with volume 1 of a series. That's all you need.
yeah,
For
exactly. And I'm like it's hard to get into even back then, even when I was in high school, like all my friends knew about like the superhero stuff and all I knew about Spider-Man and I knew about like
I
some
know,
other things,
right?
but it's like how do you get into comic books when it's like there's this like they relaunch it like every 5 years or like every 10 years or something like that, right? Like they
Yeah.
relaunch every character every 10 5 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think recently DC announced that they were going to launch like a new set of comic books of all the characters. And I'm like, shit, how can anybody get into that shit? And then when you go to manga, in manga, it's in numbers. So there's only one original Dragon Ball Z. You know, it goes in chronological order,
Yep.
right? And I said it's just so much simpler to get into like manga. And some people say it's difficult because you have to read like from right to left, Japanese style, but it really isn't. It really isn't. It's so in order, it's in easy to follow, right?
Yeah,
And
you
then
just
with the
have
comic
to
book stuff, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you just need to you get used to it eventually.
Yeah, and then with the comic book stuff, it's like you got to go back to this, like I had no idea that there was actually a Spider Verse. Like I had to look it up, and apparently there was one back in the 80s. I think it was that it was made.
The Spider-Verse thing, I thought that was more of a 2000 or 2010s thing. Like I
Apparently
remember there being eco because I used to actually we had a comic book shop by my college when I was going to college. So I'd go there from time to time, and I do know there was some multiverse Spider-Man event going on at one point.
yeah, right, yeah, and I just decided, I'm gonna keep at it with comic books, excuse me, anime and manga because it's just more simpler and it is so much more popular. Also, like anime and manga tends to attract a lot of girls, which is also is always a plus, right? It's always a plus.
Yeah.
It tends to attract more girls because the because of all the genres. Yeah, that's another thing. Anime manga has more genres:
Hmm.
romance, comedy, freaking yaoi, yuri, all the LGBT
Yeah.
stuff. And like for since 2020, I've been saying that manga has freaking way more diversity than these people in Hollywood claim that their movies have. Like
And they have really good writing. Like like I hear like some of the Yaoi and Yuri stuff. Like I have a friend who's into Yuri stuff. He reads a lot of Yuri manga. Like there's sometimes a lot of really good writing behind all of it.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
like a lot
man.
more. I just I love manga. I love anime. You know, and there's just so much like creativity coming out of it, and like and I do wish like Western stuff, like especially the cartoons. Like my God, what's happened to cartoons? Like
Yeah.
Like have you turned on Cartoon Network at any point like in the past like 3 or 4 years?
Listen, man, I don't watch cable anymore. I'm sick of it. But I do try to keep up with what's happening in Cartoon Network. I do try to keep up. And I haven't seen or I haven't heard anything good. It's like Cartoon Network is dead. It's like the shit
It
that they
is
play there,
dead.
it's like, man, the only thing they have what wait, is Adult Swim and Toonami even part of Cartoon Network anymore? Are
It's
they still
only on
part of it?
Saturday nights. Like it's
Okay, yeah.
Toonami is just Saturday nights on Adult Swim now.
Yeah, see? I mean,
I remember when
it's
Toonami
pitiful.
was every day daytime TV.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. I mean, those were the days. But some people say that Cartoon Network died in 2008 or a little bit of 2008, a little bit after 2008. Um, but I haven't been keeping up with it. I mean, I read some articles. I follow some YouTubers that talk about it, but it's not worth it. And if you see the rankings, like because so many people are moving to online to watching movies and TV shows online, the ratings for like television shows like Nickelodeon, this like what's it? The
Disney
Disney
Channel.
Children's, Disney Channel, things like that. Those ratings have been going down dramatically. Like it's embarrassing. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like YouTubers get more freaking ratings than like some of these channels and shows, man. It's
Well,
embarrassing.
I heard a theory that one of the reason why Cartoon Network made their shows like dumber was to kind of compete with YouTube and the shorter attention spans of kids.
You said dumber?
Well, oh yeah, like some of it is just so freaking dumb. Like I remember, like there's no more action shows, anything. It's all just random, silly stuff.
Yeah, man. And I mean, and if we go back, because Cartoon Network used to be good without anime. Let's put it that way. Without it,
Yeah,
like if you go back to the '90s, you had Johnny Quest, you had like the original like Scooby Doo shit. You had I love the American shows, like especially like yeah, it was Johnny Quest,
yeah, that Johnny Quest reboot was
Thundar,
awesome.
He Man. A lot of those old cartoon shows, with the real, Pirates of Dark Water. I remember that.
I
A lot
never
of
heard of
really
that
good
one.
shows. Pirates of Dark Water?
Never heard of it.
Dude, you never heard of Pirates of Dark Water?
I'll look it up after the show.
Oh my god, like that was my shit back then, bro. And like the art style was good, the animation was good. Like back in the 90s and 80s that like they still had they still value animation, right? So they would put a lot of effort into the show. I mean, Pirates of Dark Waters was the shit, bro. I used to watch reruns of it like in and out, like day after day, man.
Oh yeah, like just with the whole Kevin Conroy thing, just Batman the animated series, like
Yeah.
like the stuff that they done, like you don't see stuff like that anymore.
No, man, you don't.
And I
And
remember when I first I was I watched I didn't have Disney Channel, but I did have some exposure to gargoyles, not enough to like
oh
follow
yeah,
the lore, but
gargoyles. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so like not enough to follow the lore. But when I got on Disney Plus, one of the first thing I did was I'm gonna watch some freaking gargoyles, and then like I was like, wow, they're actually like this is a Disney show. This stuff you don't pick up as a kid.
Yeah, it was Disney's Dark Horse, they call it.
Disney's Dark Horse, like Dark Horse
Yeah.
Comics.
Well, Dark Horse it's like it just means it was kind of like their um
Yeah,
I guess the more of a
the
darker show for kids, you could say.
yeah, definitely. Trying to borrow a lot of influence from Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
I think we're a little off track.
mhm.
Oh yeah, so I'm sorry. I think I've completely derailed what we were talking about. So we were talking about manga and comics.
Yes, and we were gonna get into like the what was it? We were gonna start off with the whole situation with with the creator of Sony and the Square Enix thing. right?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. I'll got the yeah article up right here. Let's okay present. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so Sonic's dad just went to jail. That's so nuts.
Sonic's father, his fascia, went to jail.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny because, like, with Sonic Frontiers getting such great like reviews.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna hurt the sales because this really is
Oh
more
yeah,
like a Wall Street type of thing. Like I've never heard it happening like overseas too much,
oh
but
yeah.
like in America,
He doesn't work on Sonic anymore. Sega fully owns like the character. Like, he was working on Square Enix on that Badland Wonderland thing.
yeah, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna hurt the sales. So apparently, it had to do with Dragon Quest and the Square Enix. They were gonna release a Dragon Quest like tactics game, like Final Fantasy
Yeah,
Tactics, like a strategy RPG of Dragon Quest. And this was
yeah,
announced
like
back in
War of the Visions.
2019, right? Like they've been working on it since 2019, and apparently this guy Yuji Naka knew about it, and like I think somebody in Square Enix like filled him in on it, basically insider trading. And apparently
Yeah.
like that's illegal in Japan, but I don't think it's
Oh, it's illegal in the US too.
it is.
Insider trading, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that because I mean all these Wall Street guys are always like pulling some tricks.
Well, yeah. Well, like people find like loopholes and stuff around it. I'm not really very Wall Street savvy myself.
Yeah, me neither. But I mean, I
That
just
stuff like you'd ask my cousin or my uncle about. They know like all this stuff because they're really like into like stocks and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, is that it's not something that you hear happening overseas too much. It's really more something like you always hear in America, like oh, some Wall Street dude just you know uh, turn up the lights so that he can make more money on energy or power or whatever. It's always something like that. But yeah, Yuji Naka, he knew somebody in Square Enix, um, and they got caught and poof, thrown in jail. I don't think it's gonna hurt the sales of Sonic because it has to do with with the creators, like something that they did. I don't think
Yeah,
people
he's
are
not
like
part
paying
of the franchise
attention.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they're paying attention to it anymore. Really, like people probably don't care. You know,
Oh no, like
or
people just think it's funny. Unfortunately, I think
oh
like
really?
I dismissed the story like completely. I thought it was like a joke because I don't know, like his last game was the Badland Wonderland was a complete
Mm-hmm.
flop, like very glitchy, and then I think he tried to shift the blame for that on Square Enix, which could be true. I don't know, but there were a lot of excuses about why that game was bad, and there were also a lot of memes. Like it was like the gaming version of Morbius.
Oh, I see. Wait, Morbius wasn't that a movie?
Yeah, yeah. There's all these memes about how Morbius is the greatest superhero movie of all time, even though it's like completely awful.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, I heard it flopped. I heard it was like it had like Jared Leto, like
Yeah,
the lead singer of
Jared
30 Seconds to
Leto and
Mars.
Matt Smith. It it's apparently not good, but it's on Netflix now. I do think I'll probably watch it at some point,
Mm-hmm.
if just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. Yeah. So this I mean, this story is pretty straightforward. Um.
Yeah.
Not,
Y-
not really.
let's move on to the other story, like the one that really like gets me mad.
Which one?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy story.
Wait, Final Fantasy Dev has a terrible answer for why the game is so.
It,
Oh well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, they've been, you did a video on this. Like they've been, they're trying to paint like Yoshi P is some sort of like racist when that's probably not the case. Like it's just like they're just trying to. It's just Game of Thrones. It's just Final Fantasy Game of Thrones. Like that's what this game is trying to be.
Yeah, and you know what it is too. I've noticed. I think whenever they bring up like the racist stuff and the skin colors and the
Yeah,
all this type
toxic
of stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, whenever they bring that up, I really do like now. Like after doing this for like over a year, I really do think it's because like it creates. It's just for buzz because they know it pushes people's buttons
Yeah,
and it gets people just raging and chatting online. I mean, if you look at Twitter, it's people just go ballistic over things like this, right? And
yeah,
then you have like websites like Otaku and all these other websites, writing
it's
about it.
garbage.
So it creates buzz, but it's negative buzz, not the type of buzz that makes you want to buy the game, but the type of buzz that makes you want to ignore it. And honestly, I don't think that this is going to affect sales of Final Fantasy
No,
because
no, no. The brand's too big, and Yoshi P is beloved by the Final Fantasy 14 community. Absolutely beloved, and Final Fantasy 14 has like millions of players.
yeah, and let's not forget, Final Fantasy series in general, I think since Final Fantasy 7, they've always had quote unquote diversity and
Yeah,
inclusion.
yeah.
They've
There's
always
been
had it.
plenty of iterations of Final Fantasy with
Yeah.
like different people of different ethnicities.
Yeah, like
You
Barrett
pointed
Wallace
that
in
out
Final
in your
Fantasy 7.
video. Yeah, like Barrett and Zaz in 13, like you pointed out. Like, and there've been others too.
Yeah, like I just want to say this really quick because if you ever played Final Fantasy 9 and you understand the theme of the story, the
I love
story,
Final Fantasy 9.
like yeah, Final Fantasy 9, the story with Vivi, Sedaine, and some of the other characters, the story is re-
Freya.
its theme is identity because Vivi, he was created in a factory and he said like a mage factory,
Yeah, yeah. He was created
right?
by a factory and he was made to expire.
Yeah, he was made to expired, and he's trying to find like meaning in life, like and it's the same thing with Zidane when he goes to his own planet, you know.
Yeah.
And so Final Fantasy 9 was talking about identity issues before we had identity issues.
I mean, it talks about genocide. Like the rat people get almost completely wiped out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Final Fantasy 9, like it's a cute, like mystical world, but a lot of bad happens in that game.
Oh hell yeah. Alex Kingdom of Alexandria gets freaking totaled, like just
Yeah.
destroyed. Yeah, again, it's Final Fantasy 9 is diverse. Final Fantasy 7 is diverse and inclusive, whatever you want to, whatever words people want to use, you say it
Oh
nowadays.
yeah.
Um,
It
and
checks
but
all the boxes is I guess like what you can say.
yeah,
And you know what? And so like, people like are getting mad at this iteration that's clearly just trying to like cash in on Game of Thrones and the political intrigue
yeah.
like aspect, like the banners and the nations and the factions. Like that's what that last trailer was like trying to showcase, was like all the players in the grander story.
Oh
And
yeah.
then like, they just, they want to, you're like you said, they know it divides people. They know it pushes buttons, so they don't care if they're like smearing like a Japanese guy who just wants to make video games and have fun, and who's actually, I've heard something like that. The reason why Square Enix hasn't gone bankrupt is because of how much money Final Fantasy 14 is making. I hear it's
No,
just keeping the
it's true
company.
because it's a monthly service. I think you pay like monthly or yearly, something like that.
Yeah,
So they always have money coming in, and they don't have to like rely on they don't have to rely on, let's say, like just making a new game every year. They just keep going with Final Fantasy 14 and just do updates, just do new updates,
yeah.
just add new things to it because
I
it's
mean,
what do you call it, like a service game, like a
yeah, it's a live service game. It's an MMO. Like I'm subscribed to this service and I haven't even been playing that much. especially since my guild disbanded.
Yeah, and that's been keeping them afloat. Thank God.
Yeah.
And there's also been rumors about Sony buying Square Enix, which I am afraid of
Oh,
that.
I
I
hope
am
not.
afraid that.
Better not.
I
Wait,
hope it
did,
doesn't
did you
happen. Hmm.
did you see the God of War memes about the use your blades to swing the torch?
The God of War means I mean I've
Well,
seen like
apparently it's
videos.
handholdy as hell. The new God of War, like the woman's like telling you to cross the bridge.
Oh, it holds your hand a lot. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Though there's just like there was just yeah there was just like lots there.
lots of hand holding.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not sure if it's just that one part because it seems like a lot of people also really like the game, but like that one clip of just like of constant like hand holding, it was funny. I'm not.
Yeah,
It might but just be a misrepresentation though. I would have to
it
actually
looks
own a
fun though. Like it
PS5.
looks fun. Like with Atreus and like other people joining your team. It looks like a blast
Oh,
though.
I didn't know it had that feature. Team stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, like eventually, like you get to switch from Kratos to Atreus. I mean,
Ah,
I didn't want to buy a PlayStation 5, so I didn't play the game. But I watched
yeah.
gameplay of it. You can switch from Kratos to Atreus, and then like Atreus gets like he teams up with other characters to fight in the story. It looks like a
Pretty
blast. I mean,
cool.
that game looks fun. But going back to Final Fantasy, yeah. So Final Fantasy has always had diversity. It's just this one because like they've seen because I mean if Square Enix has noticed like for over the last decade, you have epic fantasies like The Witcher, Game of Thrones, what was Shannara Chronicles?
Shannara Chronicles. Not sure if
It's like
I.
it was on MTV. It's called the Shannara Chronicles, some shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Epic fantasy is very very popular. So they wanted like a European epic fantasy stuff, Um and by the way, it asks, for like in if you like to read a lot, in the publishing world, epic fantasy, like writing about like world building, medieval world stuff like that, it's popular. It's super duper popular,
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
it's also really hard. I was actually trying to get a crack at making a fantasy novel, and it's really tough to get off the ground, like world building and stuff.
yeah, because there's so many things you have to do. Create some people create a language for
Yeah,
like a different race. The map, you got to work on the map, the locations, the magic system.
history.
Yeah, the history, the magic system. So it's a lot. Epic fantasy is a lot of work, but that's why it's very popular. Like a lot of these epic fantasy IPs, like The Witcher and Game of Thrones, they explode, and that's why Amazon Jeff Bezos tried to bring back Lord of the Rings, but you already know the story
Yeah, we
behind
know
that.
how that turned out.
But also, you know how they say like, oh, why the game is so white, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I like to let everybody know I'm Latino. I'm a Spanish guy, right? So I don't care. I mean I've been watching anime and movies my whole life since I was since as long as I can remember, and it wasn't up until now. Fast forward to the 2020 the 2020s, this decade. Fast forward till now, this is the only time in history, well, that I remember in America where like people are complaining about, a cast of actors being too much of a certain ethnicity. Because if you look, have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I used to watch it as a kid.
Yeah, so Avatar: The Last Airbender was created by Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzki, which is they're two Caucasian dudes, and Avatar: The Last Airbender is based on Asian cultures. you know, Nobody says anything about that. It's always when it's like when it has to do with like Caucasian people, like or like European people, like because I don't know nowadays. I don't want to
Yeah,
go into
well,
that,
I mean,
but
this goes into like something like far beyond what this channel like covers. Like there's social political stuff that goes from like college universities and what they teach about like But no, man, I'm right. I mean, like, one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid was Static Shock.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
You see,
I,
that's no,
I
but
mean,
nobody talks
even
about
as a
that.
white kid in it who's grown up mostly in the suburbs, I actually like really liked watching. I liked Virgil as a character, even though I actually liked. I just thought Static Shock, and you know what? It actually did like talk about stuff in a very mature way, like, and it did it very respectfully too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of cartoons back then, they actually would have like more like they would actually teach you like good morals back then, but at least back then they did. Now I don't. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
say
I'm
too
not
much.
sure.
But like it just goes to show you that when people watch a TV show or movie, most of the time they don't really care like about the ethnicity of characters. It's like it has to be. It's all about the story and
Yeah.
character development. Because I mean, recently, like oh man, I should I bring up the article?
Um. Oh,
Well,
I
let's
guess.
finish talking about this one first. But recently, like there's like the Wakanda Forever movie. Last time I checked, it wasn't doing so hot in the box office, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, so it's like like these creators, like these people that make these types of criticism, they think that the majority of the population, that we that we make movie watching decisions based on our skin color and ethnicities. That's what they think. No,
And it's not. That's not what people do. I
no,
mean,
it's
I'm not
not.
gonna go like see a movie just because it's like like for example, The Northman. I actually did want to go see The Northman, but I didn't have time, and it ended up bombing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I heard it was a
I
pretty
heard
good
it was a
movie.
pretty good movie though.
Yeah, and good transitioning. This is where anime comes in, actually.
Yeah,
So, recently, the Wakanda Forever movie came out, and the people are saying that it was doing okay in the West, but in Japan, in other countries, it's not doing so hot. Like in Japan, there's one anime movie that's actually like beating the crap out of it in the box office, and it's a movie called Suzume, which it gives you the same vibes that you get from Your Name, right? So
it looks very dreamy.
yeah, it looks very dreamy. It hasn't come out here in the West for whatever reason,
That's
and
weird.
yeah, I mean it's probably gonna be here like maybe in a few months or so. But I think that in I think last time I checked in the Japanese box office, this movie Suzume and One Piece Red is doing way better. But I mean, we already know that anime is just killing it in general.
Yeah,
The what was it? Like a lot of anime movies have been breaking box office records in America. Like the Jujutsu Kaisen movie broke records. The new Dragon Ball Z movie broke
yeah,
records. Um, and it's done a second, guys.
yeah. No, no. What you're saying, yeah, like anime is like super, super popular because, like, there's just a lot of passion and creativity that goes into these projects, and it shows, and that in turn draws people. Like, most like good things, you need to have like passion in order, like, you really want to like make something that will like excite people, that will inspire people. And it just seems like with Western entertainment, a lot of it's just like filling obligations. And that's why like a lot of stuff is just rehashes of like older things, because it saves them the time to think.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's some people feel like, oh well, I have to watch this movie because of this reason, rather than I am genuinely interested in watching this movie. And this is where anime kind of keeps winning, you know.
Yeah, yeah, lots of good stuff.
That's a
with
good
the
one.
anime.
The One Piece Red movies out. I know that's gonna be doing really
Oh
well.
yeah, because the
Especially
One
here in
Piece
America.
fans, like, there's just, me. I've always been more of a Naruto guy, in case you couldn't tell, but
Yeah. I mean, me too, me too. But but it's but I know, like
yeah, One
next to
Piece is
like
huge.
Naruto and Dragon Ball, One Piece is like huge. It's the big three, or the I guess the big four, big three,
Yeah,
whatever we're calling it
yeah.
now.
I don't know, and then Bleach is somewhere. But
Wait, the
I was
Bleach.
happy for the Bleach fans. Yeah, I was happy for the Bleach fans. Like, they were going all crazy for this new movie that came out, but then Disney got it. But apparently
Oh
they
my
didn't
god.
censor it.
Yeah, I heard because Disney is trying to get their paws into anime because they don't want to innovate anymore. They're an empire now, and actually, I made a
Oh,
video about this. Did you saw the CEO saying that adults don't watch animation?
that and
Bob
you know what?
Chapek.
That's the exact opposite of what Walt Disney said. But he it just seems like all they want to do is the opposite of what Walt Disney wanted.
Well, I mean, they don't like Walt Disney. A lot of these new people that are running the show,
Oh
that are
yeah,
running
yeah,
the
no,
company.
they think he's a problematic old coot who was like, I don't know, they believe all the Seth MacFarlane conspiracies about Disney or something, like about him, like, maybe possibly being a bad person, like maybe having like wrong views or something. I don't know, but like the truth is Walt Disney, like, despite his faults, he made like something, and he actually like put a lot of passion into, like, making, like, building the Magic Kingdom, building that animation studio, and like, he's he's he was not rich to begin with. He earned all that.
Yeah, he was like, if you watch the biography, there's a movie about Walt, in his humble beginnings in living in the farm, right? His dad did not want him to be an artist, to go into the field of art, because a lot of how a lot of parents are. They don't want us to go into to making art because there's no money in it,
Yeah.
or so they say. So they say. Right. So in Walt, like a lot of kids do, he ignored that. He just went on his own way. He started his own, like, little studio.
Hmm.
And then he he was like, he went through a lot of trials, like, because Walt Disney, he went bankrupt a lot of time. He went bankrupt, I think, like, what, like, oh, I think my art teacher in college, he told me Walt Disney went bankrupt 10 times throughout his to the beginning of his career. He had people leaving him. But one guy always stayed with him. That was one of his friends, um, that he met in some other job, and then they together started the Walt Disney Company, right? And it wasn't until Walt came up with the idea for Mickey that his company blew up, and what Mickey Mouse was a freaking success
Yeah.
back then. So Walt, he really, 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 really innovated and worked really hard, and he, his innovation and his pioneering inspired Japanese artists, and thus creating the modern art style that we see in anime. So it's because of Disney that anime kind of
Oh
looks the way it
yeah.
is today, right? And you have people, these new people that don't like what he stood for. They're just kind of flipping everything around, and actually a lot of talent is leaving Disney. A lot of talent, a lot of the people that have been working for Disney for 30 years, since the 80s and 90s, they're leaving. They're starting their own studios. They're making deals with other
Yeah, like
people.
Lassiter, like he's at it, like Skydance.
Yes,
I heard,
yes.
I've been told by some of my friends in the community on YouTube, like, to expect big things from Skydance in the future.
Oh,
That's what I've
really?
been told. Yeah.
The Skydance Studios?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think, like, they released like some movie on Apple TV that I heard was pretty good. Like, there wasn't anything like weird about it or anything. It was just a nice simple kids movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta check that out. Although I don't have Apple TV, but
Yeah,
And
But
I want to follow this. I would like to follow this with with something else about Disney because this has to do with both anime and Disney.
okay,
Where's
I'll
this?
put the article up.
Yeah, the Star Wars and Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what that's going to do, but it might actually be good, especially if they're in charge of the writing. I'm not sure, like, I did I canceled my Disney Plus after the like, all the Gina drama, but that was like kind of like the last straw with me because like they sabotaged like the show and all the plans, like and all the setup that they had established that season.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was ridiculous. But I did see the anime shorts from Star Wars Visions, and
Oh
some of them like are really good. I did a whole video about one of them in particular, the Lapinochu one,
yeah.
and I explained how it was actually a better Star Wars story than the sequel trilogy. Not
Mm.
hard, I know, but it was for a 20-minute like 19-minute like thing. It was very Star Wars.
Wow.
Definitely like I actually yeah, it's if you can like find it on like an anime website, I definitely if you have to see any one of them, it should be the Lapinochu episode 7, I believe it was, of the Star Wars Visions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but some of those shorts were really interesting. They got several different studios to work on them, including Trigger.
Like I think I might subscribe to Disney Plus again if they have more anime and the anime is written and directed in Japan. I if they go
Yeah,
that way, then I'll probably subscribe to Disney Plus. But what this kind of shows me, is a bit of a desperate move, in a way, because they're kind of taking like, oh well, what's the best thing that we have? Oh, we got like Star Wars: The Mandalorian, one of our best shows. Oh, what else do we got? Oh, anime is popular. Okay, let's take anime. Let's smash them together and see what we can make. Right. Um, that when I heard this news, is that's kind of what I was getting in a way, because
wait,
it looks like
it's
a good
about
show.
Baby Yoda?
Yeah,
Oh
it's about
no.
Baby Yoda. It's about Baby Yoda,
I
Grogu.
I have a Baby Yoda. I have a Grogu right here. I just think like Grogu has just overstayed his welcome. He should have stayed with Luke. That's where things needed to go. They're I'm not. It just makes
They're
it's
bringing it
just
back for
the
season 3, right?
decisions. Yeah, there's basically everything that happened between season 1 and 2 basically didn't matter because like that whole Luke Skywalker ending with him. No, like I wanted him to become a Jedi.
Right, like if they should have made another series where Grogu returns as a Jedi. You know,
Yeah, like like they could even like put him in like future errors, like because of Yoda's race's longevity. Like you could have Grogu like be this like new like character that could go into like future Star Wars stuff. And I just feel like him
they
not being a
wasted it.
Jedi like really messes that up. Like
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they probably told John Favreau like, "Hey, is there a way that we can keep this going? With Mando and Grogu?" And they were like, "All right, well, let's see what we can cook up." But and that's why I say it's a bit of a desperate move because it should have ended in season 2. Like I like things that have an ending, you know.
yeah.
And but I mean, again, the Studio Ghibli, and if you see these little like dust creatures here, it looks like the little dust creatures from Spirited Away.
Oh yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to be like a collaboration, like a crossing universe or whatever. I mean, I'm not sure how that would work,
Well, if it's
but
anything like Star Wars Visions, it's going to be like a non-canon like license. Like, okay, here's the Star Wars IP. Go make Star Wars. and then like they do their own thing. That's basically what Star Wars Visions ended up being.
Wait, so Star Wars Vision is not canon?
No, no, they were like completely like a lot of them like would use like Star Wars stuff. Like there's references to like they'll say like okay, like there was some the Empire there was Jabba was in one of them. I mean there was some battle droids from the prequels in another, but like a lot of it takes place in like outside of like any like canon. They're like alternate universe Star Wars. Like one of them was just like two like Jedi hunting with this Sith with a red katana. You know, like and that was the episode.
Mm,
You know, like a lot of the jet like you know each studio did like their own thing. Some of them like really leaned heavy into like the more Asian aesthetic,
mm-hmm.
and like others like did their own thing. The thing I liked about La Bedocha was that the main character was an alien.
This was one of the anthologies, one of the short
Yeah,
stories.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was it was one of the episodes. I forget which studio made it.
Mm.
I know the Studio Trigger one, of course, was absolutely nuts. You had lightsabers slicing ships in half in that because you know Studio Trigger has to always like do shit like that.
Of course.
Yeah, there's like two dark side siblings that like fight each other.
Mm.
It was pretty like you know, and you know, like you know, I bet a lot of people like you know since Edge Runners blew up so big, a lot of
Oh
people
my God, Edge
like
Runner.
yeah that's
Oh
got
my
to
God.
do wonders for the studio. But I of course like knew you know Gurren Lagann, BNA. Like I knew you know I've never seen Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill. I watched some episodes. It's
Yeah, but you know Gurren Lagann was the big one. Like that's the one that made Trigger famous.
yeah, this was back in the early 2010s, right?
Oh, I know. I think the early 2000s, like late 2000s,
Yeah,
mid
it was late
2000s.
2000s, early 2010s because I watched it. I think I watched it like 2010, I think it was.
Yeah,
That's when I started watching it. Yeah, so Gurren Lagann, it was super duper popular, and I didn't exactly understood why back then. Um,
it's just something else. Like it. Well, for one, like it was inspirational. Like the inspirational speeches are great,
mm,
and then like it just gets completely insane at the end. I mean, it was kind of insane at the beginning too,
yeah,
with all the mutants and stuff.
yeah, and that chick, what's her name? The red
Oh,
haired chick,
Yoko,
Yoko.
Yoko.
Yeah, she became quite the show
Oh,
at anime
yes.
conventions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. You're making. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Baby Yoda, Grogu is gonna have an animated, and they picked Studio Ghibli because I don't know, like since the '90s, Disney has had close relations with Studio Ghibli, so
Yeah,
it
that's
only makes
true.
sense, right? It only makes sense. But the thing is about Disney is like they've just been dipping their hands into anime. Last year, actually, sometime I think it was the November last year, 2021. They they did a meeting in Japan, to anime companies, and trying to make deals with anime companies, their expansion in Japan. And actually, Disney Plus Japan actually they actually play a lot of anime. Now they recently they got the One Punch Man anime on Disney Plus now.
Really?
Yeah, it's just this was like a month ago. I saw the news, but this is in Japan though, not in America.
Yeah, yeah. Because Viz has distribution rights to One Punch Man in America.
Yes, yes, that's true. And they got Disney has nine. I think no, not nine. They have five different anime coming out in America, for Disney Plus, and all produced in Japan. I might subscribe if it's good. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna be waiting. Like Disney has to woo me if they want my subscription back. Or
yeah, me too. Me too. Like I've I don't know. People have a so it's a lot of people have hold grudges against Disney because they just
Yeah.
haven't been good.
Someone was even asking me about this. One of my my subscribers like DM'd me on Twitter, asking like, about like why people don't like Disney, and it's because they just keep antagonizing people. They just like it's just gotten so bad at this point, like with their, like they're trolling basically,
I
and just
wonder
they're
what's gonna happen.
hostile. Yeah.
I wonder what's gonna happen because look at the anime fandom, right? Because now they're gonna bring anime to Disney Plus in North America. So are they gonna keep antagonizing their fans? Like let's say when Twisted Wonderland, which is a Disney anime that's only exclusively in Japan, right?
Ah.
Is exclusively in Japan. It's called Twisted Wonderland. When it comes to America, if it ever does, like there's how should I say? Yeah, like with animes like that and other anime projects that Disney's working on, like are they gonna start antagonizing the fans? Like when there's something that people disagree with, and
I
I
don't
think
know.
and if you piss off the anime community, because the anime community is something special, man.
Yeah, the anime community
We're
is really, really passionate. They do not like if they don't like something, they're very vocal about it. That's Disney does not want to like, they think like dealing with people like neurotic and geeks and gamers is a headache. Like they have no idea the hellstorm they would unleash if they pissed off the anime fans.
Yeah,
Or
because
even
the
the
anime
Kingdom
fans.
Hearts fan, if they like mess up Kingdom Hearts like with that fourth game,
Oh
like
my god, dude! See, like that's why I say like you can't like nowadays people don't really get excited for a lot of things anymore because you just know like for the past 5 years you've seen all the movies and TV shows that have just been total crap, right? And
yeah,
and and also video games. So
yeah, some certain video games too.
right, like The Last of Us Part Two, but that's that was one hell of a controversy. And it's because Disney has all these IPs and all this power. Like I made a video about Kingdom Hearts. Like, why is Kingdom Hearts going to be WOKE? And then people were like, "Hey man, the game hasn't come out yet. Stop jinxing it." But I mean, really, like seriously, like take a look at all the crap they've done. I mean, don't like it's only a matter of time. Like I'm wondering. I am just waiting to see if Sora is gonna like come out of the closet in this new game or something.
Well, they'll make Kyrie the focus and
Yeah, they'll
phase
make
Sora
they're gonna make
completely out.
Kyrie the main character, and then Sora's gonna be like more like they're gonna feminize Sora like they always do. They're gonna do that to the new Hercules live action movie that they're making. You know,
Oh,
um,
not even no. D makes all of them. Disney remakes are D makes. That's what I call them. I
D makes. What's the D
Maleficent,
make?
a Disney remake.
Oh, the Malef. Oh man.
Uh, Maleficent showed me just how shit Disney remakes are. I've been against. They're gonna ruin Lilo and Stitch too.
Oh, there's a live action too of that, right?
Yeah, they're gonna make a live action of everything. I mean, we can get Frozen live action in the next 6 years.
Yeah, and yeah. So I was telling people, like, how's Kingdom Hearts any different? Because they're going like, especially these new Disney worlds, like these new Disney movies, Disney worlds. They're gonna apply them to the Kingdom Hearts, and then I don't know. They're gonna throw something in there. I know it, and because I know that Square Enix is in charge of Kingdom Hearts,
Well, the
but
thing is, Square Enix has been doing a lot of pandering as of late, especially this year.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I forgot what was the. I mean,
No,
besides the
they
NFC thing.
butchered a bunch of translations. They butchered a bunch of translations. Like they
On the
censored a
manga app.
bunch of stuff from Chrono Cross and Live a Live. And then there's there's a third gender option in that new farm game they just
Oh, the
released.
Harvestella.
Yeah, there's a third gender option.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, recently in the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Legacy game, they removed gender altogether.
Well, that was expected because
Yeah,
of the J.K. Rowling.
J.K.
That's
Rowling.
not a surprise. They kind of actually had to do that just to like diffuse everything. That wasn't a surprise. But like Square Enix has no obligation to do any of this.
Yeah, and they're in Japan, and that's why I think like a lot of Japanese companies they're trying to become none like instead of being Japanese companies, they're trying to become like just global companies, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're from Japan, but we're global. That's basically what Sony did, right?
Then
And
that and look how well that turned out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well,
not
for
going not
one
going very
thing
well.
is, I think Yellow Flash was talking about this. He was going over some like internal stuff that it's because like their justification is because like the console market in Japan is pretty much dead because of mobile gaming.
That's bullcrap.
Oh no,
Um,
yeah, like less people play like that like home like $60 games. They're kind of like there's less of a market for them in Japan because like like they'd rather people would rather play mobile games because they can take them on the road and travel with them.
oh yeah, and then there's the whole, there's like, the salaryman over there. People are very busy. But what is popular in Japan is the Nintendo Switch is killing it in Japan. Of course, always. You know,
Yeah.
PlayStation has been going down in Japan, but
Hmm.
the Nintendo Switch sold like at least over 10 million copies in Japan. And Nintendo has always done very well in Japan, right?
Yeah, no,
Um,
I hear Xbox is finally like more popular than PlayStation in Japan. That's how bad like Sony's gotten in Japan.
oh yeah, yes, that is true. Yeah, that is very true now. It's 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 sad to say, but they're not just using that as an excuse. Uh, some statistics do say that like there's 30% of like 30% of the mobile game market, or like no, excuse me, 20% of the mobile game market, the sales come from Japan. Like it's really that big over there.
Yeah.
Um, but also the console that's killing it in Japan is a Nintendo Switch. PC. There's been a rise in PC gaming in the last few years. For the basically for the same reason. It's just more mobile. You can carry it, take it anywhere. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but
know,
mhm.
you know, I, basically since like there wasn't any like new games that I couldn't get on PC, that so I skipped on the next gen consoles and I'm just sticking with Switch and PC.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I plan to do. Once the new Nintendo Switch comes out, the Switch 2, that's pretty much what I plan to do. Because I mean, I've just have my gaming laptop that I use, and it's just so much more convenient because it's just right there. You can take it everywhere. And I think this is the future of gaming. I'm kind of going off rails here, but that this is just the future of gaming. Like people just want things to be more mobile because I mean, think about it. You can take your phone everywhere, you can take your laptop everywhere, but you cannot take your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox everywhere. So people, there's a demand for handheld, on the go mobile devices. That's what
Yeah.
the Steam Deck is selling like millions of copies now. I think it's sold.
Really?
Um, yeah, the Steam Deck is doing fantastically in Japan. You know, the Steam Deck is selling like
Ah.
crazy.
Oh,
Actually,
that's great.
yeah, let me see if I can find the article. Actually, the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then you can put it on you have the ability to screen share also.
Where is it? Yeah,
Yeah. So I'll stop mine so you could bring it up.
percent screen share. All right, can you see it?
Yeah, I'll add the stream.
Can you see the article?
Yeah, yeah, you can now pre-order the Steam Deck in Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Valve is expanding Steam Deck shipments to some regions that could take a handheld PC meets console to new heights. The company just announced that reservations are now open in Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Komodo through Komodo, a site that is also sells Valve's Index VR headset for PC, other games and gaming merchandise.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why I think the Valve could sell like tens of millions more of these devices, is for the simple fact that they solved the problem. They solved the problem in gaming that I don't know why other people didn't think about it, but they solved the problem with PC gaming. That's basically just going to be the next revolution in gaming. So the average the to in order to be a PC gamer, you need a PC, which costs you know usually $1,000 or more, right?
Yeah.
Gaming PCs are really expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gaming PCs are really freaking expensive. So what Valve is that they just got the idea from the Nintendo Switch. Let's make a handheld PC, and something that's as powerful as a gaming PC, but it's also mobile. You can take it. You don't need to have this 15-inch device carrying with you on a bag, right? Something that's more
Yeah.
portable. So they solved the problem, and by reducing the size, they reduced the price. So instead of getting like $1,000 gaming PC, now you can spend $500 on one device, and it is a computer, but its focus is gaming, right? And I
Yeah,
can
so it
tell
doesn't
you
have like all the other functions because like when you buy a computer, you buy like all the other functions a
exactly,
computer.
exactly, yes. And I can tell you right now, I love my gaming PC, but it costs almost $2,000. It's 1,600, maybe a little more with all the other stuff, right? But my laptop is pretty fucking expensive, right?
Yeah, I have a pretty good PC that will hopefully last like a long time. Like I've it's like it's about like 3 years old, like five, maybe four now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still pretty good. Like I use it. Yeah, like you know. Anyway, I haven't had any problems with it. So my guess is it's got a lot. It's got a lot of steam.
Right. And yeah, so this is why I say this has been selling in Japan, in Asian countries. So I really do think this is one of the reasons why I think like PC gaming is the future, because like it's just because of the demand. The demand is just so huge. Like people are on the go, so they just they want to play something on the go. And also you can, the Steam that you can dock it, you can play on the big
Yeah.
screen and on the smaller screen. It's just
Not to
so
mention
convenient.
not to mention it's convenient for streaming.
Oh yes, yes. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Elgato to so I can stream Fire Emblem.
oh yeah, man. Like yeah, and it's just so much more convenient. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but recently also came out with a handheld device.
LG.
Yeah, and also where is it? Let's see if I can find it. Alienware
They make good stuff.
Alienware UFO. Look at this.
Oh, so they're making their own Steam decks.
Well, yeah, this is more like the Nintendo Switch. This is by Alienware, and you see the controllers, on the side.
Yeah.
You can actually detach the controllers. Actually, here it is.
Oh, so it is like a Switch.
Yeah, you can detach the freaking controllers and keep playing.
It's
So
pretty
it's
cool.
it's kind of like a
Yeah,
Switch
it's like a
copycat.
Switch.
I mean, they might get like some kind of like lawsuit over this. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, it's a function. They should be legally okay, but I don't know. Nintendo could try it if they feel like it.
yeah, but you see what I mean? That the demand is there, and then the Steam Deck is so like crazy, because it's not only just for gaming. It's a PC. You can use it to watch YouTube, social media, do work, whatever. It's 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 an all around device. So
One of the craziest thing about like the whole like Sony, the Sony debacle is like not only are they not making like filling the demand for more PS5s. They're not even like filling out the library. Okay, so like they had this Ratchet and Clank game that I heard was really good. And then like, then it how many months like or a year later we get God of War. Like there's the exclusive titles. It's I mean a lot of this stuff should have been there at launch.
Yeah,
Like if you
and
want to
that's
launch a console, you should have like your big hitters ready.
yes, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to get a PlayStation 5 because there's not a lot of games for it. And now they're saying, "Oh, well, we got to make more games for the PlayStation 4." Like there's going to be I believe there's going to be a God of War version for the PlayStation 4. Yeah. No, Ria, but we could think about it. Think about it. There's 100 million PlayStation 4 users and only what 15 million PS5 users. They have not sold enough PlayStation 5s, dude. And they just
Oh my
they
god.
and like you can literally count how many PlayStation 5 games there are with your fingers. You know
Let's see. There's Ratchet. Oh, that space game with I forget what it was called. That space game.
Yeah. And by the way, we are not counting the re-releases like Final Fantasy
Oh yeah.
7 like Final Fantasy 7 for the PlayStation 5. We're not counting that. Those are re-releases
Oh
for the
yeah.
platform.
Oh yeah. Like the spite. We Spider-Man, but we made his face more toddler-like.
Oh yeah.
No, like for the Spider-Man remaster for PS5, like they changed the Peter Parker model to make him look more like Tom Holland.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just stupid and unnecessary.
Um yeah, so I mean, we got God of War God of War Ragnarok for PlayStation 5. I mean, eventually it's going to come out for the PC, PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah,
But
like that's the other
they
thing.
messed up. They just messed up. I mean, I think also, I mean, it's bad decision making, but I think it's also I think the pandemic was also a factor into that. In a way, you could say.
Oh yeah, definitely the pandemic was a factor. You're breaking up a little bit, Andy.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good now.
Okay, good. I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Everybody that's listening. All right, so wow, we talked a lot about gaming Japan from Disney, and then from Disney to Disney Square Enix, and then we went on to Japan. I wanted to bring up the Steam Deck because I thought it was,
Yeah.
I just thought
No,
it would
no,
be
I definitely didn't.
mhm.
Yeah, I didn't know about this stuff. Thank you for telling me about it. Like, I mean, I kind of like dismiss the Steam Deck because Valve has tried a lot of these gimmick stuff like before, and they've all failed.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just thought the Steam Deck was just going to be another like accessory that just went nowhere. But apparently, you're telling me it's actually having some success.
Yeah, they sold. I think they sold over 1 million already. And again, like I told you, they're solving a problem within the PC gaming community, which is some people want a gaming PC, but they can't afford it. So with the Steam Deck, you get 16 RAMs of memory in the device, and yeah, you basically get a gaming PC for like half the price.
Hang on one second.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay. You're good.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, what were you saying? Oh, yeah, so the Steam Deck, wait. Oh, I am so sorry, dude.
It's okay.
Okay, so what were you saying?
I was saying that basically with the Steam Deck, you get a gaming PC for half the price. that I was saying.
Yeah,
Um,
it's more affordable, more portable.
yeah, so instead of spending over almost $2,000 for a good computer like me, people just spend 500 and you have everything you need for PC gaming, and you can live stream.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just so convenient, so convenient. Um,
Yeah.
that's on the gaming side of things. And then any topics you wanted to cover today? I know you had some stuff, right?
Well, I think we've covered most about everything I wanted to talk about. Like there was like some extra things like we could talk about, but like it didn't really like like they didn't really come up in the conversation. Like like so like I know you brought me to my attention about that there's going to be a well, I guess there's one thing we could talk about. You mentioned about a third Dragon Ball Super movie.
Ah, yes, Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super. Actually, I think this is a series, and it's gonna
Oh,
focus on Goten and Trunks. I think it's kind of like a bit of a slice of life type of thing. There's not we don't have all the details in it, but it's yeah, it looks like it's a slice of
yeah.
life type of show with Goten and Trunks. Because what happened in Dragon Ball is that the it, Dragon Ball has a power level problem. If you guys haven't noticed, Dragon Ball has a power level problem. So I mean, now we're in God mode. We got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, and then now Vegeta. If you're reading the manga, Vegeta now has Ultra Ego,
Oh, I
right?
heard he's basically he's on level with Beerus now. I from what I've heard.
Yeah, he's Vegeta's Ultra Ego, and Goku has Ultra Instinct. So, like, you have when you write yourself into a corner like this, if the characters have so much power, they can pretty much just do anything, right? You have two choices: either you make the villains much stronger, so that they'll be a threat in the story,
That's
or you're
normally what
gonna have
Dragon Ball
to
does.
yeah, or you're gonna have to go down, or you're gonna have to use other characters. And what they're doing is they're using other characters. Like in the Dragon Ball superhero movie, it was about Piccolo and Gohan.
Yeah, I didn't
Right,
see
that's what
it.
it was about.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea because like like Vegeta and Goku have kind of like pushed everyone to the side like for years now, and like there's memes about like all the forgotten Dragon Ball characters that are just like sidelined. Like they even make in jokes about it. And I've always liked Go Tanks. I liked Go Tanks and Goten Trunks, like Kid Trunks, because like Kid Trunks is like practically a different character than like like the first Trunks we were all introduced. The future Trunks.
Yeah, Future Trunks was awesome. I did not like. Did you saw the Goku Black series, Goku Black arc?
Yeah, you
I
didn't
did
like
not like
that.
that Trunks. Because that Trunks he had like with the scarf and all that.
Yeah.
Because he was skinnier. And that the older Trunks he had like he was like he was buff.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
he
True.
looks cool. He just looked cool, right? And this new design that they gave him, I wasn't digging it. I just really wasn't digging it. Um, so but basically what they're doing now is that they have to use other characters. You have to bring up other characters. Like if you watch the superhero movie, Gohan got a new power upgrade. So he has like it's called Beast Gohan, where he has like Ultra Instinct white hair, but like he has like the God Key, I think it is. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a bit of a. I mean, like it's not my fault, but I mean, I didn't like see the movie because I didn't want to support Funimation over like some stuff that happened a couple of years ago, some drama on Twitter.
Oh, what happened with that? I don't think I heard
Oh
about
no,
that.
no, just the whole like, anime gate Vic Magana stuff. It just was really nasty. It was just really, really nasty, and they did nothing to like really like mend fences.
Oh, they
You
didn't.
know,
Oh, they didn't defend Vic. I mean, I wasn't
oh
aware
no,
of that.
yeah. Well, it was just like I'm fine. Like you don't want to disassociate it. It just that like some of the voice actors just got really nasty to anyone who didn't like completely like believe like the narrative up up front, or like or people who just wanted to know more about the
Mm.
facts. And I just that's the whole thing was just super ugly, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. And unfortunately, a lot of the dub cast Dragon Ball was like heavily involved in it because of course, like they're all friends with Monica.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like the Vic stuff's like pretty much over. He's doing his own thing now, but like the thing is like just all that like that negative like energy just it's just like I went to go see that movie, and I thought that Broly movie, and I had like the time of my life,
Yeah.
like just there, like it was. I felt like that movie really good, and looking forward to the future. And then like all this drama happens, and it just completely ruined that entire experience. So like it just makes me think, why should I get excited for another Dragon Ball movie when the same thing could just happen again?
No, I
And
got you. I got
that's
you.
so like it's really killed my and I've been a fan since Tsunami, like like Frieza's,
Mm-hmm.
like the Frieza fight, everything. Like so I was like even before I knew what an anime was, I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z. So like oh,
Yeah, I think we all were.
disappointing. Like do I ever should I ever get over it and just like watch more? Do I switch to the Japanese? I mean, like I hear like Dragon Ball's kind of weird in Japanese, like Grandma Goku and
Yeah,
stuff.
because Goku's voice is kind of girly.
Yeah. And honestly, like I don't like so like if you like ask like people who were like there for like the anime stuff, they'll say like that they'll hate Sean Schimmel, and I don't know. I didn't really pay too much attention. I think Sean Schimmel's voice is great. But apparently Vegeta's voice actor Chris Sabat, like apparently he's from what I hear, he's a complete scumbag, and he's like got like some sort of like gridlock control over like the dubbing industry and Funimation especially.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I've just heard some not good things, and apparently like he's the one person, like Nick Vic Magana was on like Nick Rekieta saying like how he'd be willing to like that he wishes the best for like Sean and even Monica who threw him under. But the one, and then when Chris was mentioned, he all that like stuff about forgive and forget, like turn the other cheek, it just seemed like all that disappeared. He was just his reaction like said a lot, in my opinion, because like he's a very religious guy.
Vic? Oh, yeah, yeah. He's a Christian.
Yeah, I know. Like I am too, but like like he seems like he takes it a little bit differently than I do. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone expresses their faith like differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like but it just seemed like all that just went away when Chris was brought up in that conversation. Like if you can find like Nick Rekieta's like stream,
Mm-hmm.
it's Vic stream, like just watch like his tone shift when you mention Chris Sabat.
Ah, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was an interesting moment. But anyway, like I don't know, maybe one day I'll get over it. I'll see the Gohan movie, and I'll check this out at some
Yeah.
point.
Well, about the superhero movie, it's some people didn't like it because it's all CG.
Really?
Yeah,
All
it's yeah,
CG?
I'm dead serious. It's all CG. But honestly, it's good CG. Like anime. Some people get angry when there's CG in. So some people get angry when there's CG in anime.
Yeah.
But I think the CG in this movie was actually okay. It wasn't like Berserk 2017 where it was like it was just ugly
Yeah,
CG.
like the CG in the Broly movie was really good. Like, I love the scene where Broly smashes Goku's head into the ice.
Oh my god.
That was great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this movie, really quick, I wanted to say something about Big, because I actually went to Anime Matsuri in Texas.
Oh, you went to that, yeah.
Yeah. So I went to. It was in late July.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was.
July 31st, and then to July 31st to August 2nd, something like that, right? So I went to all of Vic's. Vic was there all 3 days, and I went to all three panels. And he was talking about Anime Matsuri and their new dubbing studio, right? I guess
Yeah,
I guess Anime Matsuri is gonna be like creating dubs now. I'm not
yeah.
sure how that's
That
gonna
that's
work.
exactly what they're gonna do. They premiered their first two movies.
Yeah, they
Like,
premiered their first two in dub, and what else? Yeah, is that and Vic is gonna be part of it.
oh yeah,
On the
he's running. He's the director. He's
yeah
he's going to
he's
be directing and he's going to be voicing.
yeah
They did
he's
a
he's
whole
running
story
it.
on this.
Yeah, he's running it, and I really like anime Matsuri in Houston, Texas, because they're doing other stuff. They're opening an anime bar, which I really want to check that shit
Oh,
out when
that's
I go back.
that's really cool. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
and I'm getting a little off rail here, but I would like to see more of this in America, more of that anime culture, because when I went to Japan in 2019, there's like anime cafes. There's like the Gundam Cafe, the Dragon Ball Cafe. There's like the those types of things, the maid cafes. You can
Yeah,
really feel it, the anime culture.
yeah. So I
I
actually
would want to see more of that. Yeah.
I went to a small anime convention like or I think it was like in the late summer. um it was a small venue. They had maid cafes and stuff. I actually got to meet Paul St. Peter.
Where is this?
It was just a small it was a small convention in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Was that Puchikan?
Um yeah,
Was that
yeah,
Puchikan?
yeah. So you've heard
Oh,
of it.
okay. Yeah. So I actually what was it? I have the girl that runs the Puchikan thing. Is her Jennifer Perez? I have her on Facebook. She's always promoting it. That's how I know about it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I went to that. It was pretty cool. No one knew who I was dressed up as, but
Oh wow, that's
oh yeah,
pretty cool.
I went as a kind of a little bit of an obscure anime character. A little bit because the manga and the anime aren't, I guess, like that mainstream.
Oh, what character was it?
It's Hank from To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts.
Hank?
Yeah, Hank Haranet. He's from
Hmm.
this series called To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts.
I
He
don't
wears a white trench coat.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Oh, it's a pretty cool thing. It takes place in this like fictional like country that's based off Civil War America. But but in this version, the North turned their soldiers into like monsters and shit, and to fight the Confederate Army.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're called incarnates, and but apparently, like becoming an incarnate leads a lot of to insanity. So Hank, who's a werewolf, like was like spends like most of the series trying to kill his old squad mates because
Ah.
he you know be-
Is it on Crunchyroll?
because yeah, it was on Crunchyroll. And actually that dub actor that died recently, he's actually does he voices the president's son, Claude.
Okay.
Yeah, the Naofumi actor.
Nafumi.
Oh, from Shield Hero.
Shield here. I
That's the
think
more
so.
notable role. Yeah, yeah. So his voice actor that died recently, like he did a voice in the dub for Sacred Beasts, and he was actually a very important character.
I think I've heard about him. I mean, if it has to do with the Shield Hero, I probably heard about him.
Yeah, well, his death was like was very. I mean, it wasn't
Was it
like
tragic?
Well, I know. I think it was just cancer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, man. Well, I'm kind of out of topics, so
Yeah, so we can end it here. Thank you
all right.
so much for coming. I had a great. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, I have fun. I love doing these live streams, and man, I like how you organize this thing, man, with StreamYards. It's really cool. Had a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll bring in Dante
Yeah,
next time. You know, have our little group.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
have
Dante,
our
you're
own.
welcome.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
have
your
our
what?
own like Friday like Saturday night tights or Friday night like the
We're gonna have
yellow
our own
flash
Friday
show.
night tights.
Like the yellow flash
I,
show and
I'd,
stuff.
I'd, I'd do that. I'm not sure if we can go for 5 hours though.
Oh, okay. They go. Oh, wow. I didn't know they go that long. But
Although they go long. I'm not really much of an FNT fan, but like they they go long. I know that.
all right. Well, guys, if you like the show, make sure to check out my channel as well,
Yeah.
Andy
Please
Matrix TV.
yeah, subscribe to Andy.
Yeah, and Dash Attack, man. Thanks so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great Saturday night. Great topics, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again. We'll make plans in the future.
Oh yeah, hopefully. See you, man.
All right. Good night, guys. Godspeed.